So what does success mean for you or look like for you as an author? Is it to hold your creative work in your hand? If that is what it means, you just want to write a book and hold it in your hand, then independent publishing is for you. You don't need to go the traditional route. Does success mean for you getting an agent like Michael Todd or TD Jakes and getting a traditional publishing deal? Once you get that, you feel like you've made it. Is success seeing your book on shelves of bookstores? Because if you want to go into a lot of bookstores, that's what traditional publishing does for you. That is when you have a company that kind of pays you to publish. Is your aim to reach many readers with your words? Then if that's just your aim, you may not need traditional publishing. Is it to empower people to change their life? You don't necessarily need traditional publishing. Is it just to sell 10,000 or 1,000,000 books? What is it? You have to work that out before you begin. Is it to get critical acclaim, to win literary prizes? If that is the aim, you do not publish independently. You have to find a traditional deal. Is the aim to earn a full-time living like me as an author? It is my writing that pays my bill and my book business that does that. Is it a tool to build a business, ministry, brand, organization? Then writing nonfiction is an excellent way to do that. Is it just writing until you're old? You want to leave a legacy. You have to work that out. So that's number one. The next thing is that if you're going to publish successfully, do not take this for granted. This is important. So if you're in the writing phase, this is also important. You may have to review what you've written in light of this. I find that if you're going to publish successfully, you need to know what the message of your book is. If you don't know what the message of your book is, you're not going to write it properly and you won't know how to market it and communicate it to others. So this is not periphery. This is vital. When clients come to me, this is the first question I ask them. What is the message of your book? What is the book all about? Because if we don't know what that message is about, it's going to affect the publishing. Who is your audience? Who is the target? Who did you have in mind when you wrote this book? Now, a lot of authors like to say, this book is for everybody. The truth is, if your book is for everybody, it is going to reach nobody. So you have to narrow it down. It's like in education, how you teach children at the kindergarten level is different from how you teach children at the high school level. It's the same thing when you're writing. If you don't know who your book is for, you're going to have difficulty marketing it, and it means you've not written the best book. So we start with that. What is the purpose of the book? In other words, why did you write it? How do you plan to use it? How do you envision others using it? That is key. What are your plans for the book? So you need to take time out to work out this map. If it is a nonfiction book, meaning it is not a novel and it's not based on a true story, and all the other types of books are basically nonfiction, whether it's teaching, memoirs, your autobiography, if it is inspirational, if it is a devotional, if it is an educational book. These are nonfiction books, and every nonfiction book must solve a problem. So what is the concern that you're addressing, and what is the prescription? These are key. If you are floundering on this, then it's going to be difficult to find, well, we can publish it, but you're not going to sell many books, and you're going to have a problem marketing and distributing it. And when you get on television and they ask you these questions, you don't know the answers. All right. So I say, have a map. All right. Know the message, audience, and purpose of your book. Then you need to choose a publishing route. There is traditional publishing versus self-publishing versus independent publishing. And let me break that down. Traditional publishing is what has dominated the publishing industry for over 100 years, right? This was the only viable and respectable means of publishing. How we came by that? You would have to find an agent. Then the agent would approach a publishing house, and They would look through your manuscript and decide if they're going to accept it or not. And you would end up with a lot of rejection. So like the author of Harry Potter, she was rejected, J.K. Rowling, several times. Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected like 130 times before a publisher said yes. So when you're in the American circles and overseas circle, once you talk about publishing, this is what they're talking about. It is not what we Caribbean people normally think about when we say publishing, right? So they would pay you to publish. They give you a large sum of money, and they basically buy some of your intellectual property rights, and they own the book. You can't do anything with the book outside of their permission. And when you say they paid you $50,000, I think Barack Obama's first book, Dreams from My Father, he got a $40,000 deal. This is USD, right? Now, after he would have out-earned that in terms of they made back their expenses and they made back the first $40,000, then they would start giving him what we call royalty, which is a share of the profits. 5 to, if you're a big name person, 20%. So this is what the traditional publishing look like. And they would cover a lot of the marketing and distribution. That has changed. Right now, if you're gonna seek traditional publishing, if you don't have a big platform, if you don't have a big email list or you're famous and you don't have access to a lot of people, they're not going to take you. And they basically decide everything, and you give your input when they send back the book to you after they've put it in book format and say, review this, and they publish, and they get into a lot of bookstores. Now, it is prestigious, all right? This is what a lot of persons want. Most of us in the Caribbean, we don't know how to pursue this, and this is not available to us. This is not the route that I've taken. And so the door was locked. A lot of people couldn't get in. But thank God for the Amazon, Jeff Bezos and Amazon in 2008. They now opened the door that individuals could now publish without going through these gatekeepers and these other persons. So welcome now to the world of self-publishing or independent publishing, where you pay to publish and you can press a button and your book is there. But you don't just press a button and put your book on Amazon. There's a process that you have to go through to ensure quality, right? And so I don't like the word self-publishing because it suggests that I'm doing everything myself. And if you're a newbie, you don't do everything yourself, and it is not wise to do everything yourself in the publishing process. I'm going to break down what that is. Am I making any sense? If you're paying for any part of the process, it is not a traditional deal. It is a form of independent or self-publishing. It is quicker and it can be costly. And there are some people out there who might rob you, so you have to be aware. And it takes more work and input from the author. All right? So independently publishing. So the self-publishers, most time, because they could just go on Amazon, create their own cover, edit their own work, what happened is that the quality of the work wasn't good. A lot of typos. Not that traditional books don't have typos. I have found traditional books with typos. But sometimes page after page, the cover is not good, that kind of thing. And so self-publishing started getting a bad rap. And so we start using a different term. Just like I have an independent musician and independent artists, we use independent publishing. What we do as independent publishers is that we use freelancers, people who are qualified, your editor, your graphic artist, and we pay them to put the book together so that it is done well. Now, what I practice for 4 years, I was doing what I call just independent publishing, where I outsource everything. The first book, a company did that for me, so it was done for me. I would say done for you. Then, so you can have a company do everything for you, or you can hire people to do parts of the process, right? And you oversee. So independent publishers work with professionals. I did that for 4 years. Last year, or since last year into this year, what I've been doing is hybrid publishing, where I do some of it myself and I get freelancers to do the rest. When you do it like this, you save on cost. All right. So what do you do now? So now that you know what is available, let's get now into it's moving the parts of the publishing process. So you need to choose. Most times this presentation is going to focus for the remaining number of minutes on independent publishing, all right, or self-publishing. We're not trying to get an agent and a deal. We're not trying to get Penguin publishers to publish for us like Michelle Obama. That would be nice if we got it. But we are going to try to do this ourselves and work with others. So if you're going to do that, you need to know what are the parts of the publishing process. You cannot start publishing if you're still writing. That means you're still in the writing phase. So you have to finish your manuscript. That's the first thing. All right? Finish your manuscript will mean that you are finished writing and you're satisfied with it and you've done your own editing. Now, even if you're a teacher of English, you still need another eye to help you to proofread that, because there are different levels of editing. Just because you're a high school teacher or college teacher of English doesn't mean that you can edit properly. You may know the grammar, but it doesn't mean that you've edited the work well, so that, because you have to do there are two types of editing. There's what we call the structural editing. So that's the second thing. Once you finish writing, you now need to move to professional editing, where there is what we call developmental editing or structural editing, where you are checking, okay, this is the message of the book. Am I finding the message of the book? Is it written the way it's supposed to be written? Is this chapter at the right place or the wrong place? Is the book meeting the purpose? Is the book connected with the audience? You see why I started with the map? So that is what we call developmental editing. If it is a novel, are you telling the story right? Is the plot right? Are the characters the way they ought to be? Is the story making sense? Are you giving away too much? That kind of thing. That is what we call developmental editing. Now, sometimes you can get that for free by asking people who are experts in the industry to read your book ahead of time, and they give you back comment, or you give it to your target audience to find out how they feel about it. But this is normally the most expensive part. Then there's a copy editing, which is what your English teacher would do most of the time. This is where they look for sentence structure, grammar, spelling, that kind of thing. So you need both, right? And then there is proofing. There are different kinds of proofing. Proofing now is when you're reading back through everything to see if the editor missed anything, if all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, all of that. So that is content proofing. You're also checking at content proofing stage to see if everything that needs to be in the book is there. Are all the endorsements there? Is the introduction there? Are all of these things there? Hope I'm not confusing you or overwhelming you. You need to know what book size you're going to use. Do you want a teeny tiny book like this? Or do you want an 8x11 book like this? Or do you need a 5x8 book like this? You need to choose your book size. So look on your bookshelf. What are the books that you like? And then you need to choose your publishing format. Are you going to do ebooks alone first? Or both print and ebook, and then later audio? You have to decide early. The next step is formatting. Formatting, otherwise known as layout, is when you make the book look like a book. All right? And you need a formatter to do that. And then after they've put it in the format that you want it, whether the ebook or the print, you have to go back through that to see if you like the font, if the size is what you want, if the paragraph is what is how you want it done. You have to review all of that. The cover design, you need a cover designer. No, it's not just a pretty cover. You need somebody who understands, because every book is like you're going to the supermarket. Certain shelves have certain things. So it's the same thing with publishing a book. You want your book to look like other books. Being unique doesn't work. There are certain genre, they call it, or categories. Once the person needs to look at it and to be able to identify what kind of book this is. And they need to do that in 2 seconds, and it needs to attract them. And then the back cover description needs to be written in such a way that, having read this, they want to buy the book, because the book is judged by its cover. All right, so the cover design. Then you need to get an ISBN. Then you need to go back and review everything. So there's a review process that takes place. After editing, you may need to rewrite, because the person marked it up and said, no, this chapter needs to go here and there. And then finally, once all of that is finished, the cover design is done, and you like how the book is laid out and formatted, you go, go to Amazon. You would have opened a Kindle Direct Publishing account. I can't get into all of that, but you'd have set up an account with Amazon, a KDP account, and there's an upload process, and within 24 to 48 hours, you will be published. So that part is easy, but the part to getting there, you have to fix all of that. So that's the publishing process. So you have to determine your publishing platform. Is it Amazon only? Are you going to use a service like Draft Digital to get your books on other platforms like Barnes and Noble? Are you going to use Ingram Spark? Ingram Spark is another publishing company. They charge you to upload your book, but they are the respected ones that get your book into bookstores, because many bookstores do not, and booksellers don't like Amazon. So you put your book on Amazon, you get a different ISBN, and you put it on Ingram Spark. Some people just print the book locally, like this was printed locally initially. So a printer here in Jamaica printed that. Sometimes when you print locally, it is more expensive, right? So if you're just speaking and selling, you don't necessarily have to put your book on Amazon. You take the PDF file, you go to a printer with the cover design, and you print it. You can also sell books via your website, which is what I am doing now. So like I said, you get qualified persons to do the parts, and you try to do it affordably. If you don't want to do all of this by yourself, get a company. My company does that, Extra Mile Innovators. We can work with you, get it done. There's also Daylight Publishing. There's HCP Publishing in Jamaica. And there are parts that you can learn to do for yourself or get your friends to do it. 95% of authors lose on their first book. So you want to start off with a small book. When I say a small book, we're talking about 10, it's not the size of the book that determines if it is small. It is a number of words. So between 10,000 and 30,000 words is a relatively small book. The average size book traditionally is 50,000 words, 40,000 and over. So if you keep it under that, the cost will be low, because most time they charge by the word count or the page count, and the smaller the book size, the number of words, the less it will cost. Standard publishing costs out there is normally between 1,000 and 12,000. Now there are ways to cut that down, and I teach that in my school, that you can get your book published for less than $1,000 US. And you need guidance. It is a steep learning curve, and you may know the parts of the process, but there are some other things to it. You get guidance from an author who's published before, or I have a school for this now, the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, that you can come and get guidance. So let me turn over to get the questions, take the questions from you. Then I come back and tell you more how you can get guidance and give you some final success tips. And I'm going to make an offer at the end. So I'm going to stop screen share. You can come live with, unmute yourself, ask your questions, or ask it in the comments, in the chat. Go right ahead. All right, Kimberly says that the quality has diminished. That is true, because most people, because it's so easy now to just go on Amazon and upload, they don't want to pay for editing, and editing is normally expensive. That's sometimes the most expensive part of the process. In America, they charge sometimes like 8 cents per word. On average, outside of that, certain platforms, we charge like $10 per 10,000, $10 per 1,000 words, or $40 per 5,000 words. And so the editor, if they're not doing you a favor and they've been in the business a long time, the cost is going to be really high. And so some persons can't afford that. But there are ways, there are certain websites that you can go to, like Fiverr, that you can sometimes find a good editor who is not going to charge you so much. And my company, we have good editors. One of my editors has been in the industry for 31 years, worked with traditional and then independent authors. And his rate is not so bad. It's $30 per hour. This is US dollars. All right. Go ahead.
Sorry. I guess one question that I wanted to know when it comes on to the publishing platform, I've always been a fan of Amazon because I am an avid reader, so I do use Kindle books very well. But for me, one of my goals is to actually have my physical book. But as you said, for printing, I guess I want to know how easy or better yet how challenging the process is to have it printed, because I know it is much easier to have it in an ebook platform.
Mm-hmm.
But how much more challenging would it be to have the hard physical copies and to actually have them in such a number to have them sent out?
Okay, very good question, Kimberly. Thank you. It's easy. What many persons do is that, all right, so you see, you're an Amazon customer, so you have a general Amazon account. So you would normally buy your book from the Amazon store. As an author, you set up what we call a KDP account, a Kindle Direct Publishing account. And this is where you would upload your book, whether it's the Kindle or the print version. Usually the print version is a PDF, so you upload it there. But guess what? As an author, if the book is $20 in the Amazon store, as the author, you get a discount to print. So the book might be $20 in the store, but KDP will allow you to order author copies and you pay like $3 or $2 something, depending on the size of your book. For those living in Jamaica, what we normally do is get a courier company that has an address overseas. So like me, I use Skyshore Shipping. It's a Jamaican company. They have an office in Florida. So I order through my KDP account to Florida. Then they get the book here, because if you're shipping directly here, it's going to be costlier, right? And they calculate whatever charges and costs, and I just go to their office on Westminster and pick it up. So like this now, I ordered 100 copies of this locally. It was $138,000. 138,000 is over 1,000 US, right? But if I'm ordering through KDP, I think I paid maybe 70,000 Jamaican dollars. You see the big difference? And the books normally take 2 weeks, 3 to 5 days over there, then to get here. Within 2 weeks, the books are here. Know that with the COVID crisis, they're taking sometimes 3 weeks. I ordered a book from April, it still hasn't gotten here. So that is the secret. So you don't buy your book in the Amazon store, you get wholesale price through your KDP account. So if you're going to publish, you set up a KDP account. And when you publish, like with Extra Mile Innovators, we help you set up your own KDP account and guide you through the process. We only do the process to make your book look like a book and charge you for that and help you upload, and you manage the rest. So in some cases, we assist with the publishing cost to print like 50 books and you pay us back. We have different payment plans, but it's not difficult at all, Kimberly. So if it's locally, if you're not printing 50, at least 50, it makes no sense. So the more you print locally with our printers, the cheaper it is. And I know that when I was publishing the first time, I had to print 1,200 books for $500,000, and I had to do borrowing and all kind of things. Now with Amazon digital printing, if it's one book I want, I can get the one book for the $2 something, which from my KDP office, not what is in the Amazon store. So it is very easy and cheaper. That's the secret. And so what some company do, they withhold some of the percentage. They know they can purchase a book for $2. They tell you that you have to buy the book from them for $5. No, that's why I said there's a revolution going on, and that's why many persons don't like Amazon, because those are some of the secrets. All right. Based on what you've said, Nad says, I may have to go back and answer some of the questions on target and purpose. Yes. Kimberly says, oh, nice. That's a huge difference. Are all the words inclusive of the body, index, and cover? Well, we don't, an index is optional, right? But the cover letter, well, no, we don't charge for that part. That is the exterior. We just cover that as part of cover design. There are persons who charge you to put this together. We don't. The words is the internal words, including your introduction, the chapters, and the endorsements, all of those things. And we normally, the ratio is like every 5,000 words. So we bill you in batches of 5,000. Any other question? All right, thank you. Let me go back quickly through the process now and give you some tips to wrap up, and then make an offer in terms of how I can be of further help. All right. So this is where the guidance come in now. Like all the questions you're asking me, that's what we call publishing guidance. And that comes at a cost if you're not taking a package. All right, so let me give you the tips now to be successful. Define what success means for you. Write a purpose-driven, mission-driven, reader-centered book. So know your genre, know why you're writing. If it is fiction, follow the rules of the genre. Each genre has certain rules. The way how you write a romance is different from a fantasy book, from a thriller book. So get familiar. Try to keep your publishing costs low. Try to keep it below $1,000 US. This is just publishing now, you know. What I'm talking about doesn't include marketing, doesn't include printing, right? Learn to keep it low. Study the publishing industry. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and certain persons that you can follow. I'm introducing you to one. She is one of the best indies in the world. Joanna Penn, the Creative Pen podcast, or her website. Learn book marketing. The book won't sell itself. Just because you put it on Amazon doesn't mean that it's going to sell. Amazon has like almost 8 million books. So if you don't let anybody know that your book is there, it's just going to be lost. Build a reader fan club or a tribe. Communicate with them. Every time you sell a book, get the emails and begin to be helpful to that tribe. Share your life, share information from your book. Think long-term, work hard, learn to develop multiple streams of income, invest time and money in the process. One of the things that I help my authors to do is I show them how to get back their money quickly, and the money that they've spent with me. By the time you sell 50 books, you're supposed to make back the money you spent on publishing. That's how it works with me. So I recently established the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, and it's $40 US per month, and we're offering courses for worth over $1,000 US. You're gonna get 1 year of coaching in writing, publishing, and teaching you how to monetize your books. There are about 30 different income streams from your book. So it's not just selling your books. You can turn your book into courses, you can start a speaking career, you can publish a book in different formats and things like that. I do weekly Q&A, so if you're having problems writing, I can teach you how to write your book fast in 24 hours, from desire to done in 24 hours. I have special packages. I can teach you how to transform your book into books. I can teach you how to publish on a budget and get it done well. I can teach you how to become a bestseller. We offer all of this in the academy, and there are other membership perks. Now, because it is new, what I'm doing is those who join now, you get lifetime membership. And you would pay the $40 per month for a year. Then after that, after the first 12 months, you don't have to pay ever again. I'll bring expert in. I'll be teaching you myself. Like I said, I know what it is to become an Amazon bestseller. I have 20 books. I'm making a living with my writing. And one of my aims is to teach you how to write and retire right, how to use books to retire right. You can go to authorpreneursecrets.com to find out more. But I'm just going to go over quickly to the website so that you can see some of the membership perks. Let me do that quickly because we are hitting the 1 hour mark. So this is what the website looks like. It's on Teachable. It's called the 1% Club. You can access our online courses one at a time, like how to convert your book to a course, or you can become part of the membership group and access everything. Some of the courses will be delivered live. Like this webinar is a free webinar, and there will be other webinars like this delivered. Right? So our aim is to give you all the tools you need, training tools, all the guidance you need to write your book fast, publish on a budget, and make money with your books and learn how to increase your impact and transform more lives. Some of the things in it, you're going to get presentation from industry expert, monthly Q&A. There's also the Authorpreneurship Starter Kit, 1 year of coaching. We're going to give you books and toolkits and resource materials. When we have our summits, you'll be able to get access to those materials. You get 10% discount on my publishing company services. You get accountability. We're going to do challenges, challenge ourselves to write a book in 30 days and things like that. And when we have new courses and upgrades, you won't pay anything. You will automatically get those. We only open once per year in the month of May. So at the end of May, this offer disappears and you just have to take the courses individually. Some of our courses are $500 US, some 300, some 197, like to publish on a budget. So it would behoove you to join the academy, become a member, and it just starts with $40 US, and we are rounding that off to 6,000 Jamaican because we know the dollar keeps going up, and that's what you would pay for 12 months, and you don't pay ever again if you join this month. Ta for now, until next time.